I actually read this book several years ago, and then I reread it more recently. And actually, Steve Martin and I have a lot in common. I actually used to write comedy for a living for a public access TV show. And my partner went on to write for The Simpsons and the Conan O'Brien Show. And I actually kind of switched careers and became a medical doctor. And I did my internship, and I was chief resident actually at UC Irvine, which is Orange County, which is where Steve Martin lived for a lot of his life. That's where Disneyland is and Knott's Berry Farm is. And despite the fact that I lived there for several years, I actually never went to Disneyland or anything. So, and I was very intrigued by Steve Martin's sort of philosophies and reminiscences about Disneyland and his time there. And I think one of the interesting things that you get from the book is he's a very insightful and very cerebral individual, and he makes a lot of points that kind of made me think that he has a very old soul. And one of the things that he reminisces about is he goes back to Disneyland as an adult after working there as an adolescent for many years, and he realizes that nothing at Disneyland has changed since he was a child, and it looks exactly the same. And from what I've heard from people who worked at Disneyland, that's kind of how it is. It's like there's sort of erosions that occur over time, but they're like, painted as though they're supposed to be there. And so the rust is like painted onto the buildings. And Steve Martin talks about that. He says like the only aging that he's noticed is faux aging that was put there architecturally or artistically. So it's kind of interesting that, and one of the papers that I really liked that I wrote while I was at UC Irvine was a paper that I wrote with an anthropologist. And it was all about how our cell biology is based on preventing the passage of time and kind of combating entropy. And that in our civilizations, we kind of recapitulate that. And so that's kind of interesting in reflection to what Steve Martin said about Disneyland. So here's a song that no one else in the history of the universe has ever heard.
What time are we passing? And our castle so clean, wood frost painted over, so arranged, so pristine. What a tall plastic mountain we hide together under its shade. And when its peak is finally erupting, what fate will it sow as it sparkles and glows? Past is imperfect, all smiles through IT. Their heads so distended, no tears, no relief. What a tall plastic mountain we hide together under its shade. When the peak is finally erupted, what fate will it sow as it sparkles and glows? What a tall plastic mountain. We hide together under its shade. And as its peak is finally erupting, fade will its soul as it sparkles and glows. Fade will its soul as it sparkles and glows. What fade will its soul as it sparkles and glows.